In June of 1971, the bombshell Pentagon Papers were first revealed by the Washington Post, delivering a death blow to public opinion and support for the Vietnam War. Tonight, 48 years later, the Post is out with a new report called the Afghanistan Papers. Thousands of previously confidential documents that some suggest could have a similar impact. They show efforts by the government and three different presidents, Bush, Obama, and Trump, to deliberately mislead, according to these reports put together, the American public about our progress in the war in Afghanistan.
And we're working closely together to help improve the lives of the people in Afghanistan.
Next year, an international coalition will end its war in Afghanistan, having achieved its mission of dismantling the core of al-Qaeda that attacked us on 9/11.
Last month, I announced a new strategy for victory in the fight against this evil in Afghanistan.
A special inspector general for Afghanistan reconstruction says simply the American people have constantly been lied to. Earlier, I spoke exclusively to Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky. It's very reminiscent of the Pentagon Papers, of what people thought looking back at the Vietnam War. All along, though, the American people have been told that this is a fight worth fighting and that there was light at the end of the tunnel at all of these junctures. What do you think of this report?
Well, you know, I think our young men and women that we send to war are our best and our brightest. They deserve better. They deserve an open airing of what is the mission. I've been saying for several years now that I can't meet a general anywhere who can tell me really what is the mission we're trying to accomplish in Afghanistan. So this is an argument for more transparency, but it's also an argument for why Congress should do a job. After 19 years, we need to have a full, open debate on whether or not we should still be at war. We should debate what is the current national interest. We should debate, whether we should be at war, whether we should continue the war, what is the mission, and that's not happening.
Well, Senator, you are interested in reopening this whole question and holding new hearings on what we're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, we send our soldiers to war, and I think they deserve to know what the mission is. We should review and ask those who spoke to the Inspector General about this, what is their current mission? We should also debate, if we're going to be at war, what is the current congressional authorization for that war? Because this isn't the war that was voted on in 2001. I was for that war to punish those who attacked us on 9/11, but this is a far different mission now. And in fact, I've yet to meet a general who actually can tell me succinctly what the current mission in Afghanistan is.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of shocking quotes in this piece. This one says we were devoid of a fundamental understanding of Afghanistan. We didn't know what we were doing. And that's from Douglas Lute, a three-star Army general. But, I also think of other individuals, Senator, who have been very supportive of this effort and who believe that we're fighting them over there so that we don't have to fight them here at home, and that we're denying them a safe haven in Afghanistan. And if we don't do that, that could obviously be very problematic and dangerous for the United States. What do you say to them?
I think the thing is that the world is a big place, and there are many different places for terrorism to arise and to organize. I think occupying acres in Afghanistan is just one of hundreds of different places they can be. They can be in Libya. Really what we want is stronger government and less chaos. So in Libya, when we toppled the government, we got chaos and terrorism got worse. In Iraq, when we toppled the government, we got chaos and the terrorism got worse. Same with Afghanistan. But I think after 19 years, the government of Afghanistan needs to step up. The people of Afghanistan need to step up. And ultimately, I think Islam needs to police Islam. It can't be Americans always doing the job for everyone.
Well, having watched hours and hours of these hearings, I think that it might be kind of refreshing to a lot of Americans to see hearings about what's going on in Afghanistan and the nearly $1 trillion that we have spent there. I think it's worth discussing and worth airing for the American people, certainly as much as what we've been watching. I can't let you go without asking you about Saudi Arabia and what happened over the weekend, and whether or not we need to reevaluate this system where we're training Saudi pilots on our own soil who are now suspected to be terrorists acting among us and killing our own people.
Yeah, I think we never fully realized that 15 of the 19 hijackers on 9/11, 2001 were Saudis. We haven't realized that they actually killed a journalist and chopped him up and dismembered him in a consulate. And now we have Saudi pilots coming over here ostensibly to train to be our allies, shooting our own soldiers. No, I think there shouldn't be any kind of easy forgiveness for Saudi Arabia. I'd put the whole program on hold. I would search all of these people. I would search all of their communications to make sure they were not complicit in this killing, and then I'd send them back home, and I'd put the whole program on hold until we find out whether Saudi Arabia truly is a friend and truly is willing to stamp this out. Saudi Arabia has spent billions of dollars spreading hatred of Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, you name it, around the world, and Saudi Arabia needs to pay a penalty for this.
Real quick, if you can, what do you say to President Trump? Because I know you support him on a lot of things, but many would say overlooked the Khashoggi situation and sent very sort of positive, supportive tweets after this situation in Florida.
Yeah, I think all of this shows us that we have to put more pressure on Saudi Arabia, and I think any sale of any weapons to them should be halted, and we should use that pressure and that leverage to see if we can get better behavior out of them. But chopping up a journalist should have never been rewarded with more weapons. I oppose that, and I oppose training these pilots over here when we're not screening them adequately. Obviously, something's wrong with the program that brings in a pilot who then kills our soldiers, and I just can't imagine being the parents of those three young men who died.
I cannot either, Senator. You're raising good points, and we thank you very much for being here today. Thank you, sir.